Now, let's look at how to manually configure an interface on a router. It's not that difficult. It really, really isn't. So what we're going to do, like I say, we just starting with the basic little two local area networks with the router that we were left off on our last video. I'm going to just click on the router. This brings us to our configuration window, and I'm going to do the EN, always enable the item on the router. Now, if you remember, this router has two interfaces on it, a gigabit 000 and a gigabit 001. So what we have to do is we have to configure both of those interfaces. So I'm going to go into the terminal configuration mode. If I can type, there we go, configure terminal. See, now that I'm here, I can actually now select which of the interfaces I want to configure. So interface, I'm just going to type INT. I could type the whole thing interface, but INT gigabit 0/0/0. That takes me, as you see, into another mode of where we can configure the interface. So from here, that is where now we'll just simply put in the IP address and the subnet that we want. So let's say for this one, I've used CIDR of 25, so I'm going to subnet this into two subnets with 126 IP addresses on both sides. Okay, but we're going to keep it simple. So IP address, ADDRESS, and now I'll just put in the IP address 192.168. Let's just say 10.1. Okay, that's the first assignable IP address in this subnet. If you remember, I can't assign .0 because that's the network ID. Okay, so I'm going to give this interface the first assignable IP address in the subnet, which is .1, and it's going to have a subnet mask of 255.255.255 and .128. If you remember that CIDR of 25, right? The mask is 128. And the second thing we're going to do now, we've put in the IP address, but now we have to turn the interface on. So we're going to do a no shutdown. Okay. Now, boom, there we go. Link 5 status has changed, and the status was changed to up. Okay, so now I can exit, and now I can go into the other interface G0/0/1, and we do the same thing. So now I'm going to give it its IP address 192.168.10, and this one starts at 128, but the first assignable will be 129. That's the first assignable IP address, and the subnet will be the same. Oh, sorry, hit the enter key by mistake. So subnet mask 255.255.255.128, and the same thing. No, and we can abbreviate that as well. No, instead of having to type the full no shutdown, no shut. Okay, well look, see, if you see what happened as I did that, okay, this interface have already turned green. This one, now when you see that little orange dot there, that is saying that the it's working, trying to get there. There's a feature in Packet Tracer that's really convenient. It's down here. It's called Fast Forward. If you just click on that Fast Forward button, it basically speeds up the process of the handshakes between the devices. So I use this all the time. Fast forward time, or you do Option D if you're on a Windows machine. So yeah, and that way the little orange dots go away because now the handshake is taking place. So now if I look, I've got green dots all the way across. But one other thing we're going to need to do, because is to configure our PCs. Okay, another feature in Packet Tracer, if you just scroll over the top of a device, it will tell you how it's what the configurations are. This is the router name. You see the device model, gigabit internet 000. The link is up, and there's the IP address 10.1. Gigabit internet interface 001 is up, and 10.129 is the IP address of that interface. Okay, so that's always good, and this works with every device, with each device. it works. Okay, so this is my 001 interface. This is the 00. A couple of different ways. Many times what I do is just kind of a shortcut if I don't remember, which one is which. I'll just disconnect, click over here, reconnect. Okay, that tells me 001 is on this side of the router. All right, that's good to know because now I need to know which IP addresses to put where. Okay, so this is 00 and this is 01. Okay, let's look at a PC. Let's look at a network device. Right now, you see there's no IP addresses. There's nothing loaded. Even though I got layer 2 working across here, this will not communicate because I don't have layer 3. I don't have any IP addresses. So let's click on that PC. The same kind of look feel. Now, you've got the physical layout. It shows you of the PC. And now what these are different cards and different modules that I can add into the PC if I want to. Configuration window shows that there's nothing configured at this current time. Gives you a desktop. This is good because now you can do several things in the desktop. Three things that you would use quite a bit. The IP configuration, that'll show you the full configuration of IPv4, IPv6, if you got DHCP, all those things in one window, as well as the command prompt. We're going to use that when we're going to ping, use the ping command to see if our network is working. If you just click on the little X, that turns that window off. And the terminal. Okay, we're going to talk about the terminal here in a second. But just kind of want to walk you through, the different things you typically will use on, on a PC. So we go to configure. Okay, what we can configure on this PC is our interfaces. So we're static, so I'm going to have to give this a static IP address. Now, the default gateway, okay, what that is the IP address of the internet, of the router interface that it is connected to. So I can look at the default gateway. It's going to be 192.168.10.1 for gigabit internet for this interface. Not going to worry about the DNS server, not important right now. And now we can also configure the IP address. So 192.168.10. I'm going to give this 2, the second IP address. And it's going to have the subnet mask. Now, what Packet Tracer try to do is try to anticipate what the subnet mask is going to be. But since we've subnetted, this is going to be 255.255.255.128. Okay? All right, so that's pretty much everything we're going to need on that PC for that PC to work. Again, if we go to our desktop, we can look at our configuration. It's a much better window, and it will show you everything that's configured for this PC. Okay, let's do the same thing. Let's go over to PC 1, and we'll do the exact same thing. So now this time we're going to use the IP configuration window. Okay, because this puts everything in one window. Makes it much simpler. So I'm going to give it an IP address of 192.168.10.130. That's the next available IP address to assign. And the subnet mask is the same as what we gave the router for the subnet is 1.128. The default gateway 192.168.10.129. And we're not worried about anything else on here. We're not doing IPv6. So that gives us our configuration. Okay, so we should have everything. Now, let's see. We can do the same thing. We can scroll over the PCs. Okay, yeah, we see we've got the IP addresses. So now, I should be able to ping. Let's see if I can ping from 10.2, 192.168.10.2 to 192.168.10.30. So what am I going to do? Just click on the PC. We'll go to command prompt, and right here we're going to type ping. That is the command 192.168.10, and we're trying to ping 130. Okay, hit enter. And sometimes the first time you do this, it takes a little while. It does some handshakes. It's trying to figure everything out. And you may get that first ping is request timeout. Don't worry about that because after that, it should start replying. Okay, so you see it. You got 3 replies back. Now, what I'm going to do is ping again, just to be sure we get all 4. Well, great feature in Packet Tracer or in most scripting languages is if I do an arrow up, just to arrow up, it will automatically give me the last command that I typed in. So I just arrow up and it automatically gives me ping 192.168.10.130. If I hit return, boom. Now, you see, once all the layer 2 and layer 3 protocols have done their handshakes, if you remember the OSI model, how these protocols have to talk to each other up and down the stack. Now, once they've done that, you see the ping happen much quicker. So it looks like my network is working. I'm able to ping from PC 0 to PC 1 across the router. Okay? Now, one thing that we also typically do to emulate real world a little bit more, as you typically on a router, you're not going to be able to talk to that router directly. There's no keyboard or monitor, so Packet Tracer gives you the ability to do things you can't always do in real life, such as click on this router and go right in here to start typing. So what we have to do, normally you're going to need some type of either a laptop or a computer to be able to interface with that router. So what we're going to do, we're going to use PC1, okay, to connect to the router, to interface with the router so that we can actually talk to it. So we're going to go to PC1, go to terminal, okay, and this is the terminal setting. What we're going to use is going to emulate this as a terminal, okay. But before we can do that, we have to put a physical connection between the PC and the router. That's why we go back down to our cable, this little blue cable down here at the bottom. Okay, we're going to use that. That's going to be our terminal cable connector. So if I click on that cable, I'm going to go to the PC and use RS-232, connect there, and then go to the router and connect to console. So now when I go to this PC, and we really shouldn't have to change any of these settings, the bits per second, the data bits, parity, all of these things are pre-configured. And when I hit OK, now even though I'm on PC1, I'm actually able to see the router. I'm actually, and how do you know that you're there? Is if the screen is black, that tells you that you're working through the PC. If you click right on the router, you see the background of the screen is white, but it's the exact same thing on both. Let me see if I can bring both of those up together. There we go. So here's operating through the PC. This window is looking directly from the router. But you see the information is the exact same. Just the background color changes to know whether you're on the router or if you're on the PC. And let me just do this to show you. Let's do EN. And as you see, as I'm typing through the terminal of the PC, it's automatically updating whatever I do on the router. Let's do a show run since we've got everything configured. So if I do a show run, now you see I've got IP addresses in both of my interfaces, and that's why our network was able to work. Okay, hope this helped you out. Now, on a simple tutorial on how to build a network and how to configure the interfaces on the PC and on the router.